everyone. My name is Raji, for short. I think that's the easy way to address me. Here to talk to you guys about Kashmi just for 3 minutes or so. What you see up there is the boring description of what we do. It's a social peer-to-peer mobile payments application focused on Asia. But I think a good way to explain this to you is for you guys to imagine, or let's say relive, a situation that you probably go through quite often. You're at dinner with a bunch of friends at Blue Jazz, for example. The bill has come, one of your friends gives their credit card in and pays that bill. And now the rest of you have to pay that person back. And that's when the chaos ensues, right? Because someone doesn't have cash with them, the other person doesn't have exact change. One friend says he'll pay you back later, the other guy says he'll find an ATM, the other guy forgets. Maybe you are too awkward to ask for these monies the next day or the day after because it's a small amount of money. I'm sure many of you guys have experienced this kind of situation before. I certainly experience it all the time. The applications go on and on. You might be splitting a cab with a friend. It might be a parent sending money to their kids. You might be on a trip with your friends and you're splitting that bill. The list goes on and on and on. Now, we don't need to go through this slide very much in detail, but the idea is that this sort of IOU situation happens very, very often with young people or people that socialize. Cash is a problem. It's cumbersome to carry around, you don't have it with you all the time, you never have exact change, and therefore your debts never get settled. So with our app, you can pay and get paid instantly on the spot through your mobile phone. You can communicate with your friends and you can share these experiences. Let me just take a minute to explain exactly how that works. It's basically a mobile wallet. So the first time you download the app, you would connect your credit card or your debit card, or nets coming soon, and so you can top up your wallet anytime you like. Usually I keep about $100 in my wallet because I know that's about how much money is going to go in and out over the course of a week. This is the important screen. So whenever you want to pay a friend or charge a friend, meaning telling them they owe you money, you find their mobile number. We're connected through mobile phone. So it doesn't matter what bank you belong to. You never have to get bank account information from anyone. You pick them on your contact. You put the amount you owe them, add a description so you remember what it's for, and you press pay. The money goes through in real time, and that's the end of it. Your mind is clear. You can chat with your friends if you're going on a trip, or maybe you have a weekly football club. You want to decide how much you owe people. You can chat with them, decide on it, pay straight through the chat. We also try to make payments social. We're not a boring bank application. Everything you do in life revolves around money, and it seems that everyone today wants to share what they're doing all the time, so why not bring those two worlds together? That description I showed you earlier will be posted onto your newsfeed if you choose to do it, and therefore it becomes a social dynamic between friends. So that's the end of my presentation, really. Cash has been around for thousands of years, but everything else has gone digital. I don't see why we're still dealing with cash now. Kashmi is an easier solution. Thank you. Well, good question. Because we're connected by phone number, what will happen is if you want to pay me and I don't have Kashmi, you can send that pay request the way that I showed you on the screen, and you will get a text message saying that Jerry is trying to send Raji so much money, please download the app to accept the money. So ideally, eventually, now we're only 2 weeks old. We're on the Google Play Store and the App Store for just 2 weeks now. Hopefully, once we start to grow a user base, more people will already have the app. But to answer your question, that's how we overcome that problem. Again, you don't need bank account numbers, you just need a phone number. So we use that to send an SMS to the person saying, so-and-so owes you that money, download the app, and the money is yours. So you're very right with the Venmo comparison. We've seen it work really well in the US, and there are similar concepts in other Western countries. The UK has Pay Friends, which has worked really well, and I feel there's no reason why this concept shouldn't work in Asia. When it comes to regulations, yes, we've had extensive conversations with MAS here in Singapore. The limitations mainly are that you can't have more than $1,000 in your wallet at any one time. So that's a big regulation, but I think for the types of transactions we're dealing with, I think that's not a limitation if you're out at a bar, or if you're splitting a cab, or so on and so forth. So in that sense, it's not an issue here in Singapore. As we expand throughout Asia, regulations will differ from country to country, and that's something we'll deal with as we make that step. Right. So you've loaded the money up into your wallet with your own credit card or debit card or nets. Right. Mm-hmm. So you withdraw the money to your bank account. So we have a screen that says withdraw funds, and you would have loaded your bank account information into it. And it's as simple as saying, let's say $50, withdraw, and it goes straight to your bank account. It goes to your bank account, yeah. But you have that cash, and the idea is that these are transactions that would usually slip your mind, or you wouldn't get paid then and there, whereas here you can do all these steps in a few seconds. So it makes your life a lot easier. With some of the bank services that exist, the transfers are only allowed within that banking network. So with Dash, I believe, for example, Standard Chartered is only between Standard Chartered customers. So it doesn't solve the problem. If you're sitting at a table with 6 people, you would have to be in that extremely fortunate situation where all 6 people are using Standard Chartered. May not happen. DBS Payla, I believe, does allow cross-banking now, but there are some apps out there that don't. So that's one advantage. The other is the social aspect that I was telling you about. We believe, and it was a big success story in the case of Venmo in the US as well. The idea of making personal finance social. Our target demographic is a much younger demographic, so 18 to 35, people that go out all the time. They like to share these payments. They like to share the fact that they've been out with their friends. They like to share the experiences that they've had. So logging into our app is not just the boring experience of going in and putting in a bank account number and sending the money to your friends. It becomes a dynamic experience where you come in, you see your payments feed, you see what your friends have been doing, you can chat with your friends. We're trying to bring those two worlds together, and it's been a proven success in other places as well, and we're hoping that it'll have the same effect here in Singapore. Absolutely, that's definitely going to be one of our biggest challenges, and I think it's a matter of execution and timing. So right now for this market, we want to get out there, roll out as fast as we can, and then pick and choose our markets wisely. But you're quite right, that's going to be one of our biggest obstacles as we move forward. So we have other plans. Right now, what I've just presented to you is our peer-to-peer solution. In the near future, we want to expand out to small merchants. So that means, maybe your yoga instructors or your personal trainers or your flea market vendor who doesn't accept credit card. There are elements that we can tap into that I feel will be quite happy to use this interface. Well, right now the app is completely free to download and to use because obviously our goal is user acquisition. We're just 2 weeks old. As we move forward, there will be many ways we hope to get revenue in. One would be on the top up. So when you top up your wallet, we would probably charge you, let's say, $1 or $2 on a $100 transaction, on a $100 top up. The transactions themselves will remain completely free because we know that those transactions happen very frequently. And the idea is your friend is not going to charge you money when he pays you back, so we're not going to do the same. But we believe that there's enough utility in the convenience that somebody would be willing to top up $100 into their wallet for a $1 or $2 charge. The other one is the merchant aspect I just spoke about, where merchants would have to pay a 3 or 5% on a credit card transaction, whereas we would give it to them for a lot cheaper, and all they need is a smartphone. They don't have to buy hardware.